just say that I love our theme music and our countdown music. I've gotten so used to it now. It's like, honestly.
Can I just say I love all the stuff that I do?
Yeah, everything. Yeah. I love the guy that picked it. Death Rolls. Yo, happy Thursday. You beat 3 miles for the second time. Thank you for joining.
Hangs out with us sometimes on Sunday night for the Crucible.
Oh, yeah? Awesome.
He'll pop in and see what we're doing, or
sweet
from time to time.
Cool. Welcome to Lawfully Chaotic, Season 4, Episode 7. Tonight, we actually have a topic tonight. Well, one of us does. The other one couldn't really contribute for reasons yet to be discussed. But we will be looking at Sigil, the VTT option offering. Thank you. From it looks like I'm reading from really bad prompts or something. Why am I doing that? The VTT offering from Wizards of the Coast / D&D Beyond. So, other than that, what else is going on announcement-wise? Check out Critical Role. Ashley Johnson and Taliesin Jaffe have a new show out called Weird Kids.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
I did the logo.
Nice.
Thank you.
Congrats.
So, obviously, I have to pitch it. But it's a really, really cool idea. They just watch it. It's really fun. I mean, I love watching Ashley Johnson basically do anything on camera. That sounded bad. Fun. That sounded bad. But
she's a really fun personality.
Yeah, she really is. So
and one of the things I love about her and Taliesin always hanging out is that Taliesin is of our generation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He was that kid actor, the Whoopi, Mr. Mom, and it's a fun link back to a series of 85 through 89 films that were very kind of impressionable to the X-Geners,
I think he's the oldest of the bunch. I mean, they all make pitched out that long. There you go. Thank you. I think he's the oldest. I mean, they all, Matt makes comments a lot about, stuff back from the 80s. Yeah. So I know that they're all, close to us, but I think Taliesin, you're right. I think he is actually yours and my generation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're mostly proper millennials, but Taliesin is closest to our age.
Yeah. So anyway, check it out. It's a really fun show. It's just like, hanging out, the art geeks hanging out in your basement when you were in high school. So if you like that,
it's pretty cool.
Check it out.
And I'd also recommend checking out Beacon. Beacon's a lot of fun. It's in its infancy. We'll see if it does better than Alpha. I hope it does better than Alpha.
Yeah.
Something interesting too. I don't know if you've noticed. Geek and Sundry is back online. They have a new. They have a new show that's actually gaining some traction. I enjoy watching it from every now and then.
They do. I follow Felicia Day. I love her.
I think they haven't learned the lesson of distractive tables. I'm not a big fan of distractive sets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you look at the show that they've done,
just too much to look at.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot going on that I don't even feel like the players are comfortable at the table. Like
I haven't looked.
Tablet? Where do I put my notebook? Where do I put my character sheet?
I haven't looked, but now I'm intrigued and I want to. That's a really tough trap to avoid. You want to create this not immersive, but you want to create this environment that sets the tone. But you're right, for a game like that, it can be really, really distracting.
Yeah.
Hey, 3 miles. How are you? Thank you for joining. So anyway,
well, before we jump into Sigil, I want to go over some March stuff that's kind of.
Oh yes, okay. Your announcements. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, not necessarily my announcements, but some shit that's popped up in the news feed that I thought was kind of interesting.
Okay. And then I want to just throw out an aside that has nothing to do with what we
could probably spend the last 20 minutes of the show talking about Sigil.
Sure.
Because it's It is mostly just a tempered review of just continuing crap that's coming out of, WotC and Hasbro.
And you just gave it away.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, I know. It is crap. It's complete crap. It'll be fun talking about it.
Yeah, but this is not, I've been out of the just hate on WotC mode for a while now.
Oh, not me. I love it now.
No, I'm not. I meant just like looking for reasons to pick on them. Yeah. I kind of don't do that anymore. I think Sigil is a reason.
Well, and so
okay, we'll get into that later. What were you gonna? What's the March? What's the March news? This is a very distracted table.
It can be.
What is that behind you?
So
what is that?
I don't know if you've heard of it before, but there's Fry Games came out with Terraforming Mars. Their RPG raised over 200K.
Oh, is that based off this? Exactly. Squirrel. I assume that's based off the board game, right?
It is.
Yeah,
it's getting a TTRPG, and I think that's amazing.
Okay.
I strongly encourage people to go head over the Kickstarter, check out.
You hear that, everybody? Strongly encouraged.
Shadowrun just dropped a module.
No shit.
Munchkin returns to Shadowrun with new Hack the Future expansion. I was reading up on that. It looks pretty cool. Now, here's what's funny is, as much as I want to, trounce and go at WotC, they clearly took some inspiration from Daggerheart, which comes out, I believe, in May, right? In May?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it drops in May, which I'm very much looking forward to. For the first time, I will be buying an actual physical game, like the... I'll still get the package that sends you the PDF copy as well.
Holy shit, dude, that's huge for you.
I know you worked on it, right? You worked on some of the.
I basically did I came up with for both versions, for the deluxe version and for the regular versions. I helped come up with the format for the box and how that worked.
So I definitely want that on my shelf. I mean, I want Daggerheart library on my shelf library of my games for sure.
No,
I may actually pick up, because I'm a big fan of starter boxes. I think they really can be put together nicely. They've got great illustrations, and the 2024 just dropped the new D&D starter set, and it's called Heroes of the Borderlands. So it's a bit of an homage to Keep on the Borderlands. So I think there's and there's a lot more stuff in the box, which is something that I've always really enjoyed, the idea of having cards and I think they kind of took some props from Daggerheart and said, you know what, you have a community of people that play card games, you have a community of people that play board games, and you have a community of people that play TTRPGs. Why not build a box that may possibly intrigue them? So,
well, hey, I've never accused WotC of not being really, really good at taking other people's ideas and implementing.
Oh, they're really good at that. You're right. Urban Shadows 2E is dropped. It's a game of supernatural creatures lurking in the shadows of a city near you. I think this is a kind of response to Vampire the Masquerade. This is its own system, so
sounds like a future Cthulhu.
It kind of feels like a cyberpunk Cthulhu.
Exactly.
Which I love that. I haven't seen any more new information on Rome Cthulhu. I've been scrounging around to see if it's getting a release date this year. It's supposed to, I think, but I haven't had a lot of ability. I don't know if anyone's going, but PaizoCon 2025 is coming, so. If you want to go,
I think they should come out with a South Pacific Cthulhu, where it's like on, like an island, like Bora Bora or Fiji, and everybody's so relaxed, that nobody gives a shit.
I was thinking you were going the direction of like cultural reference of lore and horror in Southeast Asia.
No,
but okay,
I was going the ridiculous route. Yeah,
we are getting some more errata for D&D. A guide to
erotica?
Errata, not erotica. No. It's very different.
D&D erotica. Hey, did you see the new succubus illustration?
A guide to D&D languages, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That's neat. I like that idea.
Okay.
Black Library. Fans voted for the book of the year. Go check out Games Workshop and Black Library, because I'm hoping some of those old school books are, those kind of sci-fi fantasy novels are getting a reboot, and maybe we'll get. We're never gonna have the mid 2000s like we did with just like the Horus Heresy and all that really cool shit that was going on. But
did I tell you that I finally finished the Horus Heresy series? Like,
did you really? I love
all fucking 50 some odd books. I think I skipped maybe 2. It's interesting. It is really fucking difficult. I am gonna rip on them again for a little bit, even though I've been back in their pocket for so many months now.
Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, and yeah. So now I can I've actually paid for the right to rip on them. So their fucking cataloging on their of the Black Library is absolutely fucking atrocious. You know how difficult it is to figure out what book to read next in that series? Oh my God. I think that's why I skipped a couple, because I was finally like, I'm spending 20 minutes figuring out what fucking book comes next. Like, just fucking number them,
Yeah, very true.
But I did finally finish the whole series with the Siege of Terra. I think that was 3 or 4 books. And
I remember that.
Man, they were so. I mean, there are parts of some of them. The writing is not like it's not award winning, but the story and the lore. It's not so much the writing that dragged me in. In fact, a lot of the writing style I didn't really like. But again, the story and the lore is just so unbelievably rich. I'm finding it hard to read other 40K books that are outside the Horus Heresy storyline. Because they just don't stack up anymore.
Yeah, they're really good. The Horus Heresy is really, like, I remember playing Epic for the first time, and that was all based on the original release of the Horus Heresy. These huge epic battles where these little tiny land raiders were your tanks, and
it was all the Titans and war engines and stuff.
It was crazy. And then of course, Gothic fleet battles came out, and that was a lot of fun. And one of the things I really loved at the peak of my enjoyment of 40K and fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy, is we finally included campaigns. Like we started building these like campaigns around them, because you could start off with your with your Gothic fleet traveling to the world, right? So that was part of the campaign. The Gothic fleet would get to the world, and you'd figure out, which epic battle would take place through your epic game. And then once you're in a city or in a, an area that you wanted to play, because you made it like a capture point, the rules, then you switched over to your 25 millimeter.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you go all the way from planetary scale or system scale down to
the planet, the city, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, when we finally made that switch to doing that, we would have these year-long campaigns where by the end of the year, we're like, oh yeah, you finally took a planet and you lost the planet. And,
that's really cool. I've never played. Yeah, I've never heard it played that way, but that's really awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed doing it that way, and we we built a point system and fun stuff like that. But yeah, just a couple things that dropped in March. Pathfinder is dropping so many books right now, man. Like, I mean, their Pathfinder's new book is so bloated that I'm not really interested in buying their stuff. But I do like their lore, for the same reason why I keep a lot of the 4 ebooks.
Yeah,
I do enjoy
Pathfinder's lore. I wonder if it's a response to WotC starting to get their act together,
maybe,
and trying to stay on top of it.
Could be, but I mean, the whole orc license thing kind of fell away. I never really heard anything that happened with that, and it's like, if it's not in the influencer space, for a certain period of time,
nobody gives a shit anymore.
Things just seem to kind of die away.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that I was watching the Dungeon Dudes, They are not playing 2024 rules. They are staying.
I think you mentioned that. I think you mentioned that.
I think I mentioned that in passing, but not on the show. But yeah,
I'm not sure why you would do that. I mean, there are a few things that I still think Legacy is better, but I don't need to go into them.
I kind of feel like all the character options and players who play character options are better in 2024 rules.
That's my point. I'm not sure why you wouldn't use the 2024 rules.
I mean,
but I guess to each its own.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real fundamental flaw in any statement like that is, as a GM, did you come to that decision on your own, or did you allow the table to help in the deciding process?
No, that was my decision. No, I'm serious.
No, I mean the dungeon dudes. I mean the dungeon dudes.
I thought you meant okay. Yeah.
Because I watch a lot of these kind of, everybody in YouTube talks about how you should be playing or how you shouldn't be playing, but I wonder how many of those people are actually playing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
we've talked about that before, about who in this space actually still plays the game or DMs the game.
Yeah, so when I found out that the dungeon dudes weren't going to do 2024 rules, it really kind of got me thinking about, the way I approach tables, which is, hey, everybody's free to decide. What do you guys want to do? But it seems like a lot of GMs don't want to do that.
Wait, I missed that earlier when you posted. What was that specifically in reference to? The fact that I'm not bitching as much as I used to? That's considered sponsorship. If I'm not completely trashing you, you're now a sponsor, unbeknownst to you.
I want to dig into. I want to eventually actually run a Star Trek campaign. I've got to get my hands on the new book. I love the artwork; looks so cool.
I've never been. I mean, I appreciate it as a a mythos, but I've never really been a huge Star Trek fan. I've always been a Star Wars.
The lore is just so epic. I mean, there's just so much story. There really is. Yeah, but it is one of those. It's one of those things that you could never not solve the problem in Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the problems are solvable. So it's not that the problem being solved, or it's not that the solution is the show. It's the journey of the solution that's the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All the angst and the weirdness, and my favorite Star Trek in the world was when Roddenberry, tackled racism with that one episode where the two guys are black and white faced.
Oh, yeah.
They look identical, except the colors are on different sides of their face.
Yes, yeah.
They couldn't stand each other because of it. And I just thought that was such a silly thing, but it was such a great way of expring.
That's what
such a silly thing.
Yeah.
So will you plan the red shirts into the campaign? Always. Right. There will never not be enough red shirts in any game that I play, ever.
That's funny.
Kobold Con 2025 is in May. I'm thinking I might look that one up. I'm trying to find conventions that are local to me.
Where is that one?
I'm not sure. I'd have to go check their website.
Was it you that mentioned
online?
Was it you that mentioned actually going to Gen Con this year?
I might.
In Indianapolis?
I'm supposed to come up into Chicago in April. April 17th, or no, April 24th.
Yeah.
I think for a wedding, but it's hard to get away because in May I have an event to go to, and now I'm delving into the farmers market business, so I'm trying to juggle so many things at the same time. So we'll
Chicago,
see.
Hopefully.
We've been talking about it with our.
I've been thinking about. I've never been, but I've been thinking about going to Gen Con in Indianapolis. So we'll talk about that later.
Where there was one other thing I saw that intrigued me, and I cannot find it.
Wait,
Divergence. So I don't know if at least one spoiler here, so plug your ears if you don't want to hear it. But I think the Obviously, they're planning Critical Role's new campaign. No one knows for sure if it's going to be Daggerheart or not. Most people are thinking it's going to be 2024 D&D, but that
really?
Critical, yeah, it's 50-50 at this point. But definitely watch EXU Divergence that's going on, because I think they're going to drop the hints in that show. And my favorite, I think my favorite actress from Star Trek New Worlds is one of the players in that. She plays Uhura, and I can't remember the actor's name, but she is so much fun.
Fuck. Oh my God. Okay, somebody tell us her name.
Yeah.
Shit.
But yeah, check that. I love the way Matt wrapped up the finale of Bell's Hells.
Yeah.
I think once again, it's a challenge for anyone telling a very long story, a story that took 10 years to tell, right? I mean, it really did. I mean, from Vox Machina to Mighty Nine to Bell's Hells, honestly, Mighty Nine and Bell's Hells didn't really have the finishing flair like the first season did. That giant battle with Vecna.
Nichelle Nichols.
Thank you. No. That's the original Uhura, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what you meant.
She's dead. Nichelle Nichols would have been like 95. No, it's the one playing Strange New Worlds. The new one.
Gotcha. Hold on.
You are so out of date.
Yes. What?
You are spoiled milk, my friend. Spoiled milk.
You are spoiled milk. Celia Rose Gooding.
Yes, thank you, Celia. She's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Go keep
ahead.
going. No, go ahead.
Okay. Free League and Skybound team for Invincible RPG. I'm on the fence with that one.
Oh.
That's basically a new hero RPG. So,
okay.
And that's a story where heroes get to die.
We haven't had a good hero RPG since Marvel Heroes, which was not a good hero RPG.
Which was not a good heroes RPG for sure.
Champions was Champion system. I've got the book somewhere. Was way better, but again, back to the old conundrum. There was no lore, so
yeah, it's very true. Okay. Finally, this is what I was trying to look for. I'm going to get this book when I can. So Dungeons and Dragons Ravenloft, Heir of the Strahd novel revealed. So they're actually dropping a novel, an actual book. I don't think we've seen, other than a couple of the, thieves here.
Anything that says Ravenloft, I'm all over.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck I put it.
But we were talking last time, when the movie came out, and then talking about how they just don't make novels anymore. Like, they did a couple spin-off novels for, the Thieves movie that came out.
I'm actually playing. Speaking of novels, I'm actually playing in a Dragonlance campaign in Kryn.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Who's running that one?
Gary.
Gary's running that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we got a bunch of that stuff coming this year, I think.
Yeah.
A bunch of that reboot is coming.
I got one thing to throw in since we're kind of on the subject of TV.
Yeah, that's all my March topics. So.
Yeah. Just kind of geekdom in general, but I finally watched Arcane and just finished both seasons. Holy shit.
Right.
Like, I'm not joking.
Artwork.
I am not joking
friend.
when I say that is probably the best animated show or movie that I've ever seen in my life, and quite possibly one of the best things I've seen on TV or movies ever. The writing, I know I'm way late on that. Trust me. But everything, the writing, the artwork, the animation, the fucking music. And you know what? It is the best voice acting I've ever heard in my life.
Right?
I was absolutely...
That's why season 2 cost $200 million to make.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I was absolutely and utterly fucking blown away. So I just wanted to say that if you haven't seen it yet, oh my God, fucking watch it.
I think it is. I think it's Gen Z's culture pivot, and I think Gen Alpha's free to culture pivot on it as well. It's an amazing story, like that whole series, both seasons, so D&D. It's such an amazing story.
Yeah.
And for the thing that I loved most about it is that the show writers were allowed to actually let us learn about the journey of the characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a really good comparison of amazing versus incredibly disappointed. Disney dropped the reboot of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Right. So the first 2 episodes of the
whoa, that's not a reboot. That's a continuation of the first 3 seasons.
Well, I hate to break your bubble, buddy.
It's not a reboot, dude.
Okay, well, first of all, they kill a main character right at the beginning.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I don't care because Disney is once again.
Other people might care, you heartless bastard.
the showrunners of modern age do not think any of us are smart enough to want to journey with the characters. So what they did in like the first 10 minutes was deliver on potentially hours of development of fun character plots and storyline. Daredevil hates everybody because this guy died. And they did that in like 5-10 minutes.
Because again, it's not a reboot. It is absolutely a continuation of...
I know, but to me, it feels like once you kill a main character within 5 minutes of the show, you're kind of giving, you're kind of shitting in the bucket.
I will say this, that I think for a while, after the MCU came out and Marvel Studios came out and really started making good movies, and I think Marvel did it first because I still don't think DC does it. Once in a while they have a standout gem, but the ratio of that to Marvel successes versus failures is like complete inverse. Although it's doing this. But I think for a while there, when we finally, after 50 freaking years, at least for us, when we finally started getting superhero movies that are as good as they are, they started doing justice to those origin stories. Because I think that's always been the downfall to superhero shows or movies or stories, is they rush the origin because they want to get to the suit and they want to get to the action. And it's just idiotic, and it insults your intelligence, and it's not good storytelling. And for a long time, and it still does exist.
This is so true. Kind of like the new Masters of the Universe when they killed He-Man right at the beginning. It's like, of course, they did.
I watched it when I was a kid, but I'm not a He-Man fan. But that's ridiculous,
right? It's like show writers these days. I think.
So I think that the level of sloppiness is rising again when it comes to character development and origin story and both aspects of character development, both origin and existing continued development. And that was to your point, that was one thing, like, oh my God, the Jinx character, holy shit. One of my favorite characters in all of my, like I said, TV and movie viewing lifetime, easily one of my top 5 favorite characters of all time. Like, just unfucking believable.
They tell such an amazing story about complex relationships.
Yeah.
Those have value, and a lot of show writers don't bother with that shit anymore.
Yeah.
They'll write the value in and out so quickly.
Exactly.
They simply just don't fucking care about what the viewer.
Exactly. And when you rush something that is that consequential and that important, and should be given justice, when you rush it, it completely cheapens it. It's worse than not having it at all. I'd rather see somebody start out where they are than rush through it. You're right. I agree with you 100%.
At the end of season 2, Jinx is the epitome of what you think an anti-hero is.
Absolutely.
That is exactly how you write an anti-hero.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
No one in the last 40 years has been able to pull that off. Not to that degree, not to that level.
No. I agree with you 100. I'm thinking Thanos still comes to my mind, but not so much as the anti-hero, more of the misunderstood villain, I think.
Yeah. No, an anti-hero by definition.
Yeah. No, Jinx was
so
just
important to a story. Like my Friday night group, when we wrapped up our second campaign together, there was somebody, what was it? I just lost my train of thought. It was right there. It's gone. The train derailed.
Okay.
Some fucking bot just posted in your chat.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Completely distracted me.
I know. Me too.
You should have the ability to delete it if you want.
I was looking at that too, and it distracted both of us. All right, everybody. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to start the show over. We'll try to say the same exact things that we.
What a fucking dumb name for a bot. Streambo.com. Streamboo.com. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, fuck you, Streamboo. Here's what I say to you and your fucking links. Fuck yourself, Streamboo, robot.
I had a whole train of thought that fucker derailed.
Well, okay. Anyway, Well, how about we use that as a segue to talk about Sigil. Sigil is, and I'm going to do the intro because I don't have much to say about it after that, for the simple fact that Sigil is D&D Beyond's new offering for a virtual tabletop. Now, I'm going to just jump in and say it's PC only right now. And before you start making your dickhead comments about get off the Mac and buy a PC, so fuck you and everybody else that thinks that, that's shitty. That's fucking shitty, especially in this space, because how many creatives are in the gaming space and what computers do creatives use? They fucking use Macs. And it always pissed me off, and especially with this, pisses me off that they didn't release the Mac version. And I hope that they are. I've seen them starting to, in my opinion, get their act together. They still have major project management issues, in my opinion, on how they release things and how they, bundle things and all that shit. But hopefully, I'm not waiting around for a fucking year or more for the Mac version of Sigil. So I'm pissed off right off the bat. So I have not been able to experience it because I can't fucking run it. And I don't, just out of spite, I'm not going to do it on my son's computer because it is Sigil.
SIGI.
As like the rune, like the sigil. Anyway, beyond that, let me gather my thoughts again. Okay, so some of the other, obviously there's Roll20, which is one of the first ones, and it's always been a clunky interface, but they've made a lot of improvements. They just added this new effect thing on the map, which is really fucking cool. Gary actually uses it. That's what we're using for our Kryn campaign, and I don't mind it. I wouldn't run a campaign in it, but I don't mind playing in Roll20. You use Tailspire, which I've played in your campaigns, which looks fucking amazing, and you've done a run through for us. I'm still trying to learn Foundry, and that's on me because I just haven't put the time towards it, but it is a pretty steep learning curve, I think. And then there are some other ones. So anyway, Sigil is D&D Beyond / WotC's answer to this. So A, it only runs on PC, not Mac. B, from what I have seen a couple of videos and a couple demonstrations and whatnot. So yes, Jason, I actually did do a little bit of research before this show this time. I won't let it go to my head though. Okay, but from what I've seen, like, it's just classic WotC release. Like, you release this thing, you hype the fuck out of it, and then you release it, and there's pieces missing, there's pieces broken, there are promised features that aren't there or not working. It's fucking ridiculous. And the one thing that I did, and then I'm going to shut up and let you take it away.
No, that's fine. Go for it.
The one thing, at least for a few seconds, the one thing that I did watch is WotC's release video for it, or their hype video, whatever the hell it is. Yeah. And man, from that alone, did I not know any of the things about it? Other than that, it looks fucking amazing. Oh, actually, you're right. That is a good point. Oops, I forgot the visual. That's right. Here, wait, nope. Let me do it correctly because we haven't had one in a while. So, all right, there we go. From that video alone, it looks pretty goddamn impressive. I mean, it looks like you're playing D&D in Baldur's Gate. Okay, but even better than Baldur's Gate because not the play screens. It looks like the cutscenes. But what I started to realize is, and certain cues that they even were saying during the video, man, it really looks like it is headed towards what we've talked about, which is just turning D&D into a video game, and then it's the next World of Warcraft. They mentioned like, oh, we want to have it integrated fully so you can play on your desktop, mobile devices, console. Whoa, wait, what? Console? Who the fuck plays Dungeons and Dragons on a console? Okay, so things like that lead me to believe that is still their goal, is to just gamify, digital video gamify the fuck out of it, which I think is just ridiculous.
So yeah,
the hardware requirements I also read are through the roof.
They're stupid.
And again, like, it just, I don't know, they were just focusing on the candy, the eye candy, which is great, but at which point, and like I said, I've really enjoyed TaleSpire. It is really immersive to see a fully 3D map like that and play on it. But at what point does it become so distracting to the game?
Correct.
Right? So,
and that's exactly what they've done with this.
Yeah.
So I will start by saying I'm very biased towards TaleSpire because the key factors of TaleSpire are I can either let you see the table from a tall view, a medium view, or that cool close-up view where you're toe-to-toe with the baddie, right? That's lots of fun.
You can adjust to any camera angle and focal length that you want.
Correct.
There is no yeah.
The other thing that TaleSpire has that no one else has is the true three-dimensional effect. And TaleSpire also gives you more than one way to interact with the software.
Okay, right? Now I'm going to play devil's advocate. From what we know already, and I'm asking you because like I said, can't find out for myself. Yeah. Does Sigil not allow you that full 360 like TaleSpire? It looked very much like TaleSpire.
Here, we'll get to that in a minute because I'm talking about my bias towards TaleSpire, so that as I really lay into Sigil, I'm hoping it'll help.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, understood.
So when I use TaleSpire, I don't have to force the players to use it. I get to control the pacing. I get to have a lot of fun as a DM by bringing you into the immersion and let you only worry about your character, right? And play your character while I'm doing all the other work.
Okay, so you're, just to clarify that, because I'm not sure everybody knows, virtual tabletops generally are designed so that the players log in or have a seat.
Correct.
And you move your token around,
Correct.
And that way you see the fog of war and everything like that. Now,
Correct.
Jason, when he does a campaign in TaleSpire, you play it in I'm in control, and we're just looking at it on a screen
Correct.
as if it was just a map with minis.
Correct. Okay. Which is supposed to mimic as if we're around a table and playing on the table, right? The volume of creativity in TaleSpire cannot be matched by Sigil, because the community in TaleSpire is the center focus of its development.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you, because that is coming for Sigil. And again, their encounter builder has been in beta for 6 fucking years. Okay. So who knows when these timelines are going to be, but they did specifically say, community driven, yada, yada, yada. How long has Tailspire been out and had that community? When did it start?
They've been out for 10 years.
Okay. So they've got a 10-year head start on that community. That's the point I'm trying to make.
The community came together about a year ago when they introduced the ability for everybody to build, maps and slabs.
Okay. So then, to be fair, they've got a year head start.
But I don't view it that way. When you go to their Discord, their development has always been community driven. They've always asked, "What are you guys looking for?"
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? So,
okay.
Their entire
and are they
world,
respondent? And are they respondent to that? Okay.
Oh yeah, very much so. So, I would
respondent
recommend,
or responsive? Respondent.
Either way has an R in it, so you're good. So Sigil. What I don't like about Sigil, there's only one thing I do like about it compared to the other VTT that I use, but all the other things I don't like. They clearly don't know how to code in Unreal Engine.
Start with the one thing you do like. Is it the integration to D&D Beyond?
No, that's garbage, because what's the point of integrating with tools that are unfinished? Right? Why integrate with encounters? It's still beta. Why integrate with Maps VTT? It's still beta.
Okay.
Why bother with integration when all your tools are unfinished? What is that going to do for me? Right? It's not going to do anything for me.
And this harkens back to what I've been saying about them, about how they roll things out, and everything is fucking piecemeal.
Yeah, I really don't worry about that too much, because now that I've seen what Sigil does, they are setting up a microtransaction enterprise.
Well, of course they are, because they were talking about dressing up your dollies.
Yeah. Well, so you asked me what I thought was.
Oh, hey, Gary.
You asked me what I thought was the one good thing I liked.
So there's only 18 months.
I did like the fact I could build a character, like a mini, from scratch.
Yeah, right? that okay.
Was cool. That's cool, right?
And likewise, they said as you can change it as you gain magic items, you can change your character. That is pretty cool. Again, bordering on very much video game shit.
Stupid it is.
Yeah.
You can't find the edit feature to edit your mini's name. Right? It's like kind of cool, but here's a whole bunch of stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, do you want these really cool pieces to be on your map? That'll be $1.99, please. Do you want these really cool color schemas for your miniatures? 99 cents. Do you want this really cool pre-built item? Oh, that's going to be $5.99. So what they're doing is they're giving you this bare minimum that doesn't look good at all. The UX UI looks terrible. The Unreal Engine integration is terrible. The download is 200 plus gigs of download.
Jesus Christ.
200 gigs. So once again,
it's an operating system. I think the current Mac operating system is like, no, it's not that. It's not even that big.
Windows is like 250 gig. It's usually like half your drive when you put the damn thing on there, right? But anyways, once again, they're so tone deaf. Like you just keep seeing it over and over and over again. What they don't seem to understand is that people that play D&D do not run gaming computers. So when D&D players get together in a remote space, they are not. The majority of people that love Baldur's Gate don't play D&D. I hate to break the news to everybody.
Yeah,
that's why Baldur's Gate doesn't even use equal mechanics. They use something similar, but they really don't use D&D mechanics. They, you know what I mean? They're very different.
Yeah, no, people play D&D on laptops, on iPads.
Yeah, I mean, people play D&D remotely in a very kind of scaled expectation of their device.
Yeah.
Right? Headset, microphone, PC, laptop, tablet seems to be, and it's usually the basic necessities. Like you can always tell when some of my players are rolling on D&D Beyond because their camera chugs.
Yeah.
Because D&D Beyond uses all your client services on your side of your device to have D&D Beyond roll dice on your screen, right? So for me, Sigil confirms to me that they don't want the GM to be the center of D&D anymore. The GM is no longer the center of D&D. All you would have to do about a year from now, if Sigil ever works properly, is introduce an AI bot as the DM, and you don't even play traditional games anymore.
Well, for that matter, you could have bot players too. You could just say start a campaign and nobody could ever watch it or play in it.
Yeah, they're all bots. How fucking weird would that be?
Robot
D&D. But it's like it's the level of tone deaf, like, is so exceedingly obvious now.
Well, that's something that has not changed in the recent past.
Until Sigil dropped, I will be honest, it's been speculation. It's all speculation, right? No one's publicly come out and said, we're transitioning from this specifically to this. There's not really any evidence to the contrary one way or the other, right? That's the beauty of conspiracy, right? Conspiracy can always exist because no one ever has to prove it one way or the other.
Tone deaf aspect.
So the tone deaf aspect is Sigil was given away for free, right?
Yeah.
Here's this free thing we're going to give you. There was no marketing behind it on the day it was released, right? It seemed to be stealth dropped, which tells you, oh, you're dropping alpha.
Yeah.
You're dropping an alpha thing. Because you don't realize that players aren't going to have great systems, you're tone deaf. No one's going to be able to run this game. No one can run this. That's how tone deaf they are. And if I've got their drop-down menu here, beta encounters is 6 years old.
That's my point. Yeah.
So it's like there's nothing here that's worth integrating, because the one thing that DMs have been asking, and if they just give it to us, we would encourage more players to play. And that is something like Alchemy or Obsidian or this amazing integrated tool in D&D Beyond that allows you to actually build a real campaign in D&D Beyond and have this real glossy kind of place for your players to enjoy the lore, the descriptions, the artwork, and stuff like that.
That's Foundry.
Instead, here's your garbage enterprise-driven microtransactional VTT that is not going to run on your system.
Yeah. Well, and that very fact leads me to believe that it is indeed their ultimate goal that D&D becomes very much more like World of Warcraft, at least from the digital side. And you and I talked way back when about why haven't they cultivated the community? They could do microtransactions and gamify the community. We've had those conversations way back when. So I think there is a way to encourage those transactions.
Death Roll Dice, is D&D a TTRPG or a fantasy setting? Does the world system exist now beyond tabletop gaming? I think that's what they're trying to build.
Maybe, but the way. So even though I've said, if they did things right, they could.
So Ugrin's saying, I think they're abandoning encounters. They built the 2024 encounters function into maps and left the encounters tool using the 2014 data. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Once again, they keep dropping all these alpha and beta tools.
I know.
And I think what they've done here is they've taken all these alpha and beta tools and they're like, okay, we'll make all this integrate now into the VTT Sigil so that we can now say, okay, all these other things can go away, because as long as you use VTT Sigil, you get everything you want. You get point and click effects. You don't even have to roll dice anymore. The DM doesn't have to describe anything anymore. The DM doesn't have to do anything anymore. You just point, click, point, click, point, click, point.
And that's my point, is that what point does it become too much like a video game and less like a role-playing game?
Sigil is a video game because they built it like BG3, and BG3 is a video game.
Exactly. And to your point also, microtransactions or smaller transactions, like they used to have the a la carte, for all their info,
content,
which was awesome.
For all their digital content.
Transactions that are useful, I have no problem with. Okay, it's building all that shit, like you said, into Sigil, where it's like, oh, you want to customize your mini? Well, now it's
a dime for to have red hats. That's gonna be
exactly. It's a dime for a red hat, and it's $1 for a fucking sword, and it's like that shit. Again, at that, I just have flashbacks to World of Warcraft, and at that point, I have no fucking interest anymore.
And the final thing I'd say about Sigil is that there's no option to play it any other way. You can only play it the way it's built.
Yeah.
There's no cool way.
Now, I will say,
forcing players to have to use it.
I will say, good night, everybody.
Yeah.
No, I will say with Sigil, I am, well, not optimistic. That's the wrong word. I am anticipating being able to use it, and that it evolves into what it's supposed to be, and I'm hoping that what it is supposed to be is an actual usable VTT that does streamline the way a VTT should.
Not a shot in hell.
I am afraid that it's not going to be.
I know it's not going to be.
I know. I'm just, like I said, I'm trying. I'm turning over a new leaf, if you haven't noticed. Okay, past few months.
It's winter, man. There are no leaves.
I know. You'd think I'd be even surlier. No, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I am very much of the mindset that they will fall flat on their faces. I mean, they couldn't even manage to do a 3-book release properly. How are they going to fucking manage to do this with encounters integration and token integration and data integration?
I knew the moment I saw the email in my email account about the Sigil release, I was like, it's already out, and they gave it away. Oh, it's going to be crap. Like,
yeah.
That's
and by the way, just here's a funny aside. Speaking about microtransactions and whatnot, so I was nosing around today in maps, actually, and again, at its very basic level, maps, it looks kind of cool. I don't know, Gary. You said you can't really use it quite yet, because the integration's not great and all that shit. But for some reason, I think Gary, I think you have New Year. Now I need a love cam. No, I was gonna say I was looking because I'm running Dragon Heist, so I wanted to buy the book. I have the content shared with me, but apparently that is not enough to actually own the maps for maps. Okay, so I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just buy the digital book. So I threw it in my cart at about 6:30 my time, so 3 hours ago. I have since gotten 2 emails from WotC that says, hey, you left something behind. Do you want to finish your purchase? So when it comes to selling you shit, they're on top of things.
Yeah.
So maps, a little bit of challenge use and a bunch of windows open at once. Yeah, see, and then that defeats the purpose. Like, why am I going to use that? Why am I going to have a bunch of windows open to use something that doesn't work well when I'm already using a bunch of windows open on something that I've got working well? So
yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. I mean,
like I said, I still think that's their biggest problem. Well, 2 biggest problems is having somebody at the helm who's not from the fucking video game space industry. And then the other one is get your fucking act together in terms of how you run your projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, they must be so fucking siloed over there. It reminds me of my days at Sears. Jesus Christ. We used to do shit 4 times over because nobody would involve any of the stakeholders. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, get your act together and release everything at once and work on everything at once instead of fucking integrating everything with these fucking Band-Aids. Now you got me going. And we're out of time.
Yeah, I tried it out for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
The UX UI was clunky. There was no way it was going to fit into the way that I like to use VTTs. You kind of have to rebuild everything within their VTT solution to a certain degree. And it's so minimal, there's just not enough variety to make it interesting right now.
Yeah.
So, I fucking deleted it. I uninstalled it and will never use it because not only is it not a finished game, it's barely alpha. And if you're going to roll out alpha to people, come on, man. Do it in a way that says you want to embrace people about it. But, all this Hollywood bullshit they've been doing for the last 6 months about how perfect Sigil is and how beautiful it is and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they're making... Remember when we talked many years ago about when they bought D&D Beyond? About about what their big mistakes in the future were going to be. And so far, they've made every single one of those mistakes.
Yeah.
They're not an IT shop. They don't know tech. They're not very good at it. They don't know how to refactor code. And D&D Beyond is still a fucking mess. It's got a very glossy lipstick on a very, 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 very sick pig, in my opinion. And there's only one person that benefits from D&D Beyond, and that's the player.
Yeah.
The player character sheets are epic. If you're a brand new player, they do exactly what they're described to do. Guess what? You didn't need to build a $500 million piece of junk to do that. You really didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was so disappointed.
No, I remember those conversations distinctly.
Yeah. So, well, Brad, we did it again.
We did it again. Kind of a little bit of a meandering episode, but I liked it. I thought
not really state of the game as of the first week
state
of
the game,
and then a real kind of rant cammy, tangent about Sigil and how fucking awful it is.
I'm glad that I did get a little bit of rant on WotC. I haven't done it in a while, so thanks.
So where can we find you, Bri?
You can find me at RPG and Co on Instagram. Check out playrpgandco.com. Thank you, Death Rolls.
Fuck you, Steve.
Check out the website. Got a lot of apparel on there, a lot of swag, a lot of digital content. A fair amount of that is Jason's, actually, and it's really awesome. And then I think we mentioned, but Lawfully Chaotic Studios is still around, but not really curating it. Everything's going to be on RPG and Company and TTRPG Academy. So we're moving everything over to the YouTube channels for those two for the show. So check those out. And I'm on Blue Sky, but again, I got to remember to engage with it. So, but follow me on Blue Sky at RPG and Co, and then I'll have a reason to engage. So, what about you, Jace?
You can find me over at TTRPG Academy at the link tree, and that has all my socials on there. Everything. If you're on Instagram, Blue Sky, or any of that stuff, I'm there. I'm usually just posting artwork or content about what I do for my 8 different pay-to-play games and my 1 live in studio game. I do have 3 pending pay-to-play tables that are now officially open. Cool. I've got one for Wednesday, one for Saturday, and now one for Tuesday night as well.
Awesome. So check those out. Go over to the Discord server is a good place, right? Discord server.
Yeah, Discord server. I also published the new website. I have my own website now. Finally.
Oh, right, that's right.
Which is kind of nice.
That is big news. Check out TTRPG
first iteration
Academy
of it. It's still some tweaking and things.
It's alpha.
To it, but
it's alpha. So in 19 years, you can expect the beta, and then just about when Jason is.
I can't help it. I built it I built it in 1 day. So that's how it works. I built it in a day.
Well, microtransact the fuck out of it. That's all I got to tell you. That's my advice.
Hey, Brian. TPK.
Yeah. Tell a story, Jason.
Play a game.
And most of all, please, as always, be kind. Thank you for joining, everybody. It's always
Good
a
night,
pleasure.
everybody.
Bye.